Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Yes, it's today is a Saturday, and it's our technical week presentation. And yes, today is really great that we have the presentation from Mr. Leanghy, and it's called HashiCorp, as I remember. Okay. So by the way, to be more specific, let's move to Mr. Leanghy.
So everybody here hear me well?
Yeah, yeah.
And did you see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen.
So can I start now?
Okay, let's start.
So let me start my presentation today. And the topic today is about HashiCorp Consul, the networking automation for dynamic infrastructure. And the main topic today is the key of protocol of Consul. Let's go to the next slide. So actually, there are many key features of Consul. We have the service discovery. Client and Consul can register service such as API, MySQL, and our client can use Consul to discover provide service using ENS or HTTP requests. And also we have the health checking. Consul client can provide any number of health check, either associated with the given service. Is the web server returning status 200 or local node? So there are many kinds of health checks actually, and the information can be used by the operator to monitor the cluster health and used by the service discovery component to route the traffic away from health unhealthy. And they have the KV store, and that means the application can make use of Consul key value store for any number of purpose, including dynamic configuration, feature flashing, coordination, leader election, and more. And also secure service communication. That means the Consul can generate the distribute TLS certificate for service and establish virtual TLS connection. Intention can be used to define which service are allowed to communicate. It's something related to the Consul service mesh. Yeah. Also, Consul also can be used with multiple data center. Consul can support multiple data center. That means the user of Consul do not have to worry about building additional layer of abstract to the multiple region. That's all the key feature of Consul. And if we look at the diagram, the Consul single data center would be like this. We have the single cluster that have the server and client joined together. And the next slide is the multiple data center, look like this. We have a multiple data center and can communicate together via the gossip pool using the internet. Let me talk more detail in the next slide. So Consul basics should be like this. Every Consul, we have the agent, and we have the server mode and client mode. Consul can be used with the laptop, physical server, VMware, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google, GCP, and Docker and Kubernetes. And actually, Consul have also dev mode, but I did not put in the slide. But we can use dev mode for just for testing purpose with our laptop. But Okay, let me go to the next slide. So the Consul server mode, we have the Consul server mode and client mode. The server mode should be like Consul cluster, state the membership, respond to the query, register service, and maintenance forum. And about the Consul client, is register local service, perform the health check, and forward the RPC call to the server and take the path in LAN gossip. So here is move to the key protocol. So the first key protocol that I want to talk about is a consensus protocol based on REST. It's used only the server node, it's not client. And we have a strongly consistent. And the consensus protocol responsible for the leadership election and maintaining the committed lock and try all across all the server and establishing a quorum. And if you talk about the logs be primary unit of work and other sequence of entry. And entry can be a cluster chain or key value chain or something. And all the members must agree to on the entry and their order to be considered on the consistent. And the PSF is all the member participating in the log replication is the PSF. That means the all the console, all the server nodes is in the local data center. It is the PSF. And talk about the quorum is the majority of the member of the PSF. Like I mentioned, is about related to the server. If no quorum, that means no console. That means if we have the console server, it must have the quorum. And the quorum require at least n+1 divided by 2. That means that if we have the 5-node cluster, we have to use the we have to calculate like 5 + 1 divided by 2 equal to 3. That means if we have the 5 server node, and we can fail only 2. So I will have example demo in the next, after I finish the presentation. I will have some example. So totally the 5-node clusters, that means that we need to use the algorithm like n+1 divided by 2. So if we have 5 nodes, we need to use 5 + 1 divided by 2 equal to 3. If we have the 3-node cluster, it's 3 + 1 divided by 2 equal to 2. So 3 nodes, we can fail only 1. If we fail 2 server, the console cluster will be broken, will be crushed. So 5 nodes, we can fail only 2. So if we have 5 nodes, if the server crush more than 2, let's say 3, that means the console cluster will be crushed. And what is the leader is responsible for? Is ingesting the new log and try, processing or query and transaction, replicating to the follower, and determine when and try is considered commitment. And about the follower is responsible for the forward all PC requests to the leader or to the to the leader, and accept the log from the leader and casting the vote for the leader election. That means that If something changed from the leader, so it's also replicate to the follower also. Let me talk more detail about the leader election. The leadership is based on the randomly election timeout. So leaders send out frequent heartbeat to the follower node. Each server has randomly assigned timeout. And yes, you can see the timeout between something like this, just example. And if the heartbeat isn't received from the leader, and election will be take place. And the node change is the state to candidate vote itself and issuing a request for vote to establish a majority. So let's say if we have 3 nodes or 5 nodes, let's say 5 nodes, and we have one node fail. Let's say the leader node fail. So it will randomly if the server node that have the less timeout, so it will be the candidate and vote for itself. So it will randomly between 4 nodes that have the less timeouts will be the candidate to vote itself to be the leader. So you got my point?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so let me go to the next slide. And now let's go to the gossip protocol. Based on self, use a cluster by including multi-cluster and used by the client and server. The gossip protocol responsible for manage the membership of the cluster, client and server, broadcast a message to the cluster such as the connectivity failure. So it like when one of the server fail, it will broadcast to all the member in the cluster that have one server fail, something like this. Yes, and allow reliable and fast broadcast across to data center, and make use of 2 different gossip pool. We can use a LAN like a LAN gossip pool and WAN gossip pool. The LAN gossip pool is each data center has their own LAN gossip pool and contain all members of the data center, including client and server. And purpose of the LAN gossip pool is the membership information, allow client to discover server, failure detection duty are shared by member of the entire cluster and reliable and fast event broadcast. And the WAN gossip pool is separate, globally unique pool, and all the server participation in the WAN pool regarding to the data center. Purpose is allow server to perform across multiple data centers, assist with handling single server and entire data center failure. So actually, that's all from my topic today about the key protocol of the Consul. And let me move to some practice about the service discovery and some example. Okay. So do you hear my terminal screen?
Yes.
I prepare only 5 nodes today. And 3 is server node and 2 is the client node. I have to start Consul one by one. So we have one node up. Yes, we have 2 nodes up. Let me. So right now we have the 3 server node, and 1 is the leader and 2 is the follower. Now I will say to client node. And you can see the cluster is already there. We have the 3 node server and 2 client node. I also have the console control. Okay. Yes, we have the 2 upstream server from the client. Yes, here's the client node. So currently if we check the console member, yeah, we have 3 nodes still exist and 2 client mode still exist. Right now, let me stop. So, yes, still exists, but I think because the app node, F02 node is already stopped and next, so it cannot perform the health check. So when it cannot perform the health check, the upstream also removed. So I started back. Yes, it's come back. So right now I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to stop the Consul server node one by one, and let's see what will happen. Is leader. So just copy. Yeah. It failed because the server node 1 is already stopped Consul, so it cannot run the Consul operator ref disappear. But if we go to the next server node, we can see that the leader will be node 02. And we cannot get the member. Right now we can see the status node 01 is already left, and the leader will be node 02. And now, like I talked before about the consistent protocol, if we have the 3 server node, we can fail only 1. But if we fail 2, the Consul cluster will be crushed. So right now I'm trying to stop the one more Consul server node. Okay, Consul. Yes, next time choose. It's already left and so so Yeah. One member is left. Oh. Okay. All right. Oh. Let me. Yeah, actually, join. Let's see. Oh. Mm. Yeah. You start console one by one. I found some reason that when I try to stop two console node, it we still get the leader, but it cannot get back. It cannot get back when I try to start the console from node 01 and node 02 back, and it failed. So in this case, we need to stop the all console one by one and start it one by one to get the console cluster back. So right now I'm trying again. Okay. Okay, so when now we can see the node 3 is the leader and node 2 is the follower. So the node 1 is stopped. Now I start it back. And see the node 1 is bad. The node 1 is bad. And if I stop all the console, if I stop 2 of console node, let's say I stop console node 3. Okay. Node 2 is the leader right now. I'm stop node 2. Okay. Okay. Well, now node 01 is the leader, but if I start it back, so stop.
Is it possible that the calculation is not correct?
Sorry.
Is it possible that
when I try to start console it back, it failed to sync. Now column size 1.
Or maybe it's different between the fail and stop normally.
Fail or stop normally.
I mean, if the console is fail, it can only fail 1 when we have 3. But if we stop it, then it can stop 2.
might be possible. I think it might be different between console fail and console left. Maybe console fail is safe. Console left is safe. How to get the console fail?
Shut down the server. Or stop engine 8.
Okay. Left. Okay, that's our force remove. I try to console force remove. Don't get the leader anymore. I think maybe something related with the bootstrap expect. I will learn more about the bootstrap expect when I test without bootstrap expect and I'm not defined in the configuration and I try to stop the two observer node, it failed. But when I read some document, they said that they suggest to define the bootstrap expect to, and the number it should be the number of server node. So after I modify like that, and then when the console has stopped, it still can get the leader. But after I remove it, when two of console is stopped, we cannot get any leader. I'm sorry, maybe I need to learn more about what the problem. For now, we cannot get any leader. So the consult is already crashed. So if we want to consult start it back, we need to power up the server again and start one by one. I'm sorry, maybe today I couldn't find the reason, and I will have some feedback to you in the comment section. So do you have any question?
Okay.
So,
okay. Move to Mr. Bonok.
You are organizer you first.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so so HashiCorp is the product in the same company as Vagrant.
Yes, Vagrant is the one of the tool of HashiCorp, and Consul also one of the tool of HashiCorp.
I see. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, I have one question. So, what is the Consul is important to apply for?
Yes, it's very important because if we talk about the Consul, I would like to talk more detail about the Consul service discovery, and let's say that if we have the Consul server node, and we also have the Consul client, and the client is joined together with the Consul server, and after that the Consul client can perform the health check. So if the health check is well, that means that the gossip pool will broadcast the message that the health check is well from the server node, and then server cannot get response. If the server cannot get response from the client that failed the health check, so it will be removed from the Consul cluster. So it is safe. Like I showed you before, and we have the upstream. We use the Consul template to get the service and IP, and then I try to stop the F01 or F02. So when I stop one of the application node, it also removed from the upstream also. When I start it back, the IP of the node is come up again in the upstream. So actually it's very important for our team, and it's not only the service discovery, but there are many key feature, but because we use a lot with the service discovery, so I decided to demo with the service discovery. But it's not only service discovery, there are many features of the Consul.
So how about the IP address of every node? So which give this IP to every node server, or do you have the
IP of the server node? We don't give anything related with the like a firewall rule. We just like we don't define any firewall rule related with the IP that can communicate together, but we do have the service configuration. That in client, we have the service configuration for client, and then we define something like IP of client, something like this. And in server, we have the configuration for server. So after that, we start with Consul. So the server and the client can communicate together. But the client have to run the Consul join to the IP of the Consul server.
Oh, so it means that the server is the DHCP of every node.
Right? Yes.
And the IP rank, the IP subnet. So we should configure, we need to configure it, or it automatically generate?
It's depend on our infrastructure, but for my configuration, I define the client address is 00000, so it accepts with all the IP. If the IP can communicate together, like in the same rank or something, in the same VLAN, or if the VLAN can communicate together, so the console also can communicate together.
I understand. So thank you.
Hello, Leanghy-san. I have a question.
Yes.
Related to the Consul server calculation formula. As you said, we use the formula like n+1 divided by 2. So my question, if we use this formula 1, the server group must have the server node server is the odd number. Is it right? I mean, if we use the n+1 divided by 2, something like 5 node server. If we +1 is equal to 6 divided by 2 is 3. It means that we have the server node server node app at least 3 server of 5. It means that only 2 can be fair. So this formula 1. But if the server in group server node server is the 4, is the odd number. So if we +1 divided by 2 is the server is just only 1 and 1.5. It means the 2.5 server. So it's it
require 2.5 server to I got your point. Yes. And actually I'm already failed with our project. I don't want to talk so much about our project, but I failed already when we, let's say when we have 4 and then I stop 2 already and the console cannot get the leader.
Okay.
After I fail, I try to understand how the protocols work. But like I talked before, at that moment I try to modify the bootstrap express to 3. After I modify like this, I stop 2 server, but we still get the leader from the node 3. So I will have some feedback after the meeting.
Okay, I see. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, but like you see, when I try the last time when I tried to stop 2 of console node, it failed. We cannot get the leader. And if we have 4, so if you use that formula like n+1 divided by 2, so it should be 2.5. So it requires 2.5. So that means we need at least 3 members to start election. So if we have only 2 to start election, it cannot. Based from the algorithm based from the formula that we talk about, it cannot.
Okay, maybe the server must be the more than 50%.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, we don't hope that we will make that mistake. We shouldn't make it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's all from me. Yeah. Thank you.
So I have one more question. So, hello.
Yes.
Okay. So can this technology apply for? Can I apply this technology with the container?
Yes, of course. It can support multi-platform.
Oh, okay.
Also support Windows.
So if I apply it to GCP or AWS, so I need to deploy a container. So are there any trick to apply this technology with container?
I think if we talk about the container, I think they are similar to the physical. So I don't have much experience with the Consul with container, but I think that is similar. So let's say that the container is the client. Let's say the container is the client. So the client still have the Consul agent, and we do some configuration similar to the physical server. I can show some configuration. That is the configuration of the client, and I think I define the server is for, that means it's client, and then we define the client address, and we define the data DIO, something like this. So I don't know about the container so much, but I think might be similar. It's not much different because we use the same architecture.
Okay, thank you.
So totally, Consul can support multiple platforms.
So one more question. So if it's, I think it's similar to Kubernetes architecture. So what difference between Consul and Kubernetes?
What between from what I understand, Consul support. I don't know so much about the Kubernetes that has that kind of architecture, but the Consul, it can support all the platform. Some situation we don't want to use the container cluster. We don't want to use the some situation we use the physicals better than. So I think Consul can support all the platform. But if we talk about the Kubernetes, so it's only Kubernetes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So, do you have more questions?
Then let me ask one question. Yeah, this time we use Consul to make the cluster, and we have two backend server, two backend client. Okay, fine. The two backend server and run Nginx. So, and you did something, and after that, the upstream node was removed. Can I know something more detail how you make that configuration? Because you just stopped the Consul service in the client node. After that, that client node was removed from upstream node. Yeah, of course, some member already know how it works, but I want you to explain something more how it works.
Okay. So right now I will start it back first. So remember. So now console is up again. I will start the client mode also. Join. So now console client has already joined, and now I'm trying to switch. So here is the front end service that I register. Actually, we can use service in our. I have health check service. Let's say if I control the control service, and then okay, so right now I'm deactivating the service register from the console client node. Now I'm started back. So it's already back. So how I define the health check? So I define the node name is web server 01, and the name of service is front end. So the service name should be start from front end.service.console. And then after that, if I after that I have the console template. I install the console template, and I will show how I configure console template. Yeah. Template service. So in console template service, I execute the console template, and I use the config file is etc console.d console template.acl. So the console template will execute from this file. Then console.d. And in the console template, I define like this. So the source is the etc nginx.conf.d.balancer.conf.ct.mpl is the console template file, and then it will generate the new nginx conf file. After that, it will reload the nginx configuration. So ct.mpl. I set the upstream backend in the service. Service name is the front end, and the IP of the service name and port. So when we start the console, right now, I remove load balance of conf. missing error, and then I start Consul template. So it will generate the logbalance .conf, and then we get the upstream from the service.
Okay,
So
thank you.
right now, I stop the health check by stop Nginx.
Oh, 1 minute. We have only 1 minute. Can we refresh?
So the upstream backend is already removed. When I start it back, start. It takes a short. So Skype, could you enable?
Yes, I did.
So after I start the Nginx configuration, after I start service Nginx on the F01, and the upstream IP is already there.
Yes, thank you. So Nginx use at first the Consul template generate the Nginx configuration from template.
Yes.
In the template, Consul template will check the alive node, alive upstream node, and put all alive node IP address there in the upstream directive. Then Nginx can pass the request to upstream alive node, only alive node. So is that correct?
Yes, only alive nodes. Because I configure health check from the client server. So it depends on how we configuration about the health check. There are many kinds of health check configuration. So I just do some simple configuration for just localhost and port 80 to pass the health check configuration. So if we stop the Nginx, so it will fail and it will move from the upstream.
Thank you. Interesting. And Consul also support service discovery by DNS, as usual.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also interesting. Okay, thank you.
Not just only Nginx, we can have, we can use with other type of the proxy service. Not only Nginx.
Yes, I think so, because Consul template just have a command and template. It's not only for Nginx. We can make any configuration, any type, any kind of configuration file from template. And of course, we can run any command, not only Nginx. Then, for example, we can make something memcached configuration, Redis configuration file, and generate from template. Then we can run Redis, memcached, or MySQL, any service from the Consul template command. I see. Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry I spent so much time today. I don't expect that I spent so much time today.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So do we have any question or feedback or comment? Okay, so we don't have now. Okay, so I have a little where is the okay, so okay, I found it now. Thank you so much. Okay, so now everyone see the screen, right? Okay, so
I don't see your screen. You share screen?
yes, I am sharing my screen. No.
Or Leanghy need to stop your sharing.
Click view option and see Sky share.
So let me stop my share screen.
So stop share.
We see your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so inside here that we know already it's our schedule, and the right one it's question and answer. And my idea of creating this sheet is to let us continue what our concern regarding to the topic that our presenter just showed. So we can share more results, or like example, currently Mr. Leanghy just got stuck some little problem. So after you found out, you can share what it look like and the solution. Yes, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good idea.
Okay, so I am not designing this yet, but after that I am going to design. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so yes, any question? Okay, so let's move to Yoshida-san.
No, nothing, nothing from me. Let's close the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, just one more topic. New member will join our company, our team next week.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, then let's close the Sky.
Okay, have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, bye.